Welcome to this episode of How To Tuesday. I have a special guest, Jennings. He is and was a professional kayaker and all around extreme kayaking guy. He's done 100-foot waterfalls and a slew of waterfalls that are shorter than that. And Hunt is a guy that is very passionate about kayaking. And so I asked him to join us today to give us a How To Tuesday for somebody that wants to get into kayaking. Hunt, what would you say if somebody came up to you and they said, "Hey, that looks really cool. What you're doing? How do I start? How do I start kayaking? What do I do?"
Yeah, well, that's a good question. People ask me that a lot. I think kayaking at first can be kind of an intimidating thing to get into because it's a scary sport. There's a lot of unknowns to it, um, a lot of different things that I think people just don't end up ever getting to experience kayaking because they don't know how to get into it. So, um, I would say the first thing is like find somewhere in your community or close to you that has other kayakers doing it. Sometimes it's only it's in an unofficial group like on Facebook or something, and you can find it. Kayakers are usually very one of the cool things about the kayaking community in general is that we're very open to other people, and people are usually very excited to help you get involved because we want to share the passion that we have for the sport with other people. So it's not like surfing where you're gonna get kicked off the beach or something. So you don't need to be intimidated, first of all. So yeah, find a group like that. A lot of places, Chattanooga area boating info has a Facebook page. We have the Tennessee Valley Canoe Club. A lot of people get started through clubs, and that's a good way to meet people, meet friends, and go out and do it. I think the biggest thing is finding people like that and friends to go with because kayaking is like you don't want to go by yourself. It's something that you can't do safely by yourself, and so um, I was very blessed growing up and learning how to do it with teachers and friends who pursued it beside me. So I'd say the first thing is be open and don't be intimidated. Just get involved. People will be stoked that you're wanting to get out and they'll help you. So the other thing is take it very slowly. I think a lot of people get excited and they'll maybe meet people, get involved, like buy all their gear and stuff, and then uh, like jump into a river or something that's a little over their head too
Mm.
fast. And I think that can, unless you're just like really tough and like getting beat down, that then then you want to ease your way into it because um, you don't want to do something that'll make you uncomfortable, scare yourself, and not enjoy it. So the progression um, of that, I think um, being wise about what you get on and how fast you get on it
Hmm.
is important too. And then also just finding the right kayak, I think, is really important. People um, I mean, the kayak you're in makes a difference, depending on what you're wanting to do with kayaking, what type of kayaking you want to do, and then also like your height, weight, everything kind of like needs to match up. It's not terribly specific, but it's important. So there's a lot of people sell used kayaks. There's a big market for that, so you can find those online and try that out for your first time. And there's a lot of outdoor stores that sell kayaking gear, and so you can go to the one near you or the nearest city or whatever and find a
Hmm.
kayak.
How would they know which type of kayak they're going for? Like you said, there's a lot of different types that depending on what you want to do. If somebody's getting into kayaking for the first time, maybe they don't know. Is there like a base kayak that's kind of not great for anything, but it's pretty good for a lot of things? Is that the kind of boat that you would be looking for on one of these used sites, and then maybe get a little more specific on your second boat?
Yeah, I think so. My first kayak was what they call a river running playboat. So a river runner would be a longer, like, kayak that you couldn't really do any tricks in. It's really stable.
Mm.
Playboat is the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's small, tippy, but it's made for doing tricks. So a river running playboat is kind of a hybrid between those things. It's kind of a mix, I guess, of those types of kayaks. And so, um, and that allows you to get exposure to flipping over and maybe being a little less stable, which people would sometimes are like, I want more stability. And it's like, well, yeah, that's more comfortable. But if you want to be a good kayaker, um, flipping over and learning how to, like, uh, I guess, gain that control yourself and not depending on the kayak stability,
Mm-hmm.
I think is important. So that's what I started in. I know a lot of people start in river running playboats. And I think that's kind of where I would suggest starting. If you wanted to go on or start in just like a full on playboat, that's fine too. I think it would be a little less stable. I think that middle ground is kind of a good
Mm-hmm.
thing.
And then, are there skills that someone would need to know before they take their first attempt in a river? I mean, should you be able to roll the kayak um, successfully before you head out, for your first time on the river?
It depends on what kind of whitewater you're on. If you're on really easy whitewater, class 1 and 2, swimming's not a big deal, and you can, if you're with people, they can help you out if you swim. So that not knowing how to roll isn't a reason to not get on easy whitewater to start out with, but you want to learn how to roll as quickly as possible because you're going to be limited in what you can do until you learn that, and you're going to be scared to flip over. So, well, the first thing you always learn is how to do a wet exit, or that's when your kayak flips over, you pull your skirt and get out of the kayak. That's
Mm-hmm.
basic safety. You need to do that before you even paddle around in a pool or anything. And then once you learn that, work on your roll as quickly as possible. Um, but also start getting on the water as quickly as possible. Learning how to be comfortable in the current is good. And the quicker you learn how to roll and the more confident you are in your roll, then the more comfortable you'll be with moving up to more exciting
Mm-hmm.
whitewater.
And so, some of these clubs and obviously some of the outdoor stores are going to have opportunities for instruction, right? And some of that's going
Yeah.
to happen maybe on a really slow river or in a swimming pool or a lake or something like that, right?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
learning how to roll and learning the wet exit and learning other valuable skills like how to actually go from the bank into the water,
Hmm.
right?
For sure. Yeah, they'll have clinics and things. They call them role practice. A lot of times they'll meet. A lot of times even they go through the winter one night a week, be in an indoor pool or something, and you can practice all those things without having to get outside in the winter if you don't have the gear for that or whatever. And so yeah, that's a great way to start because they'll teach you that stuff. They'll kind of educate you on the rivers that you should start out on. Because a lot of times you don't know, like, you hear of a river and you don't know exactly how, if it's within your skill range or not. So talking to people that know kind of what's going on and can assess your skill level and then tell you where you should be is a good place to start.
All right, good advice. How to kayak, and next thing you know, you'll be dropping off 100-footers. Anyway, all right, that's it for How To Tuesday this week. How to start kayaking with Hunt Jennings. So thanks, and we'll see you next week.